Hey, the 90 and 90 podcast is back, baby. And I'm your host, the local neighborhood home dealer, Monte Mansfield, baby. Hey, today, episode 5 is going to be on laughter, guys. Hey, laughter's like medicine, right? Laughter can cure the soul, guys. Hey, like I think back in my past and I never made it to the big leagues. Oh, well, I was on the cover of a Kellogg's box, baby. Oh, I look back and I became a junkie. Oh, well, now I got a testimony to be able to share the good news on how I got clean and sober, and I'm able to be the host of the 90 and 90 podcast. Hey, if you're out there and you're struggling with addiction, guys, find the 90 and 90 podcast. Let's continue to save lives right here, guys. Hey, today's episode, we got the amazing, legendary, baby, Craig Shoemaker, 2-time Emmy Award winner. Hey, Dave Chappelle opening act was the main event for that gig, guys. He's just an absolute legend. He's been on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He's been on Matlock, and he loves to use laughter to help cure the soul, baby. And I love it, guys. I'm so excited. I can't wait for this episode. And hey, we're gonna knock it out the ballpark, baby. Episode 5 coming right at you. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. Hey, today's episode 5 of the 90 and 90 podcast, guys. Hey, we're super thankful. Hey, we got to continue to grow the channel, all right? We got to be able to like, subscribe, and ring that bell, baby. Hey, we want the channel to grow. On today's episode, we got an amazing comedian, Craig Shoemaker, 2-time Emmy Award winner. He has 30 years of sobriety. He's like the Yoda of sobriety, baby.
No, try not. Do or do not. There is no try.
I can't wait to hear his experience, his strength, and his hope. And plus, he's performed for the president, guys. He's an absolute icon, absolute legend, guys. Today, we got a special guest on the show. He's the resident normie right here. Big Vinny. How's it going, Big Vinny?
You stoked to be here, man.
Amen, brother. Super happy to have you, to have that normal person's outlook on recovery and just outlook on life, man. Super thankful to have you on the show.
Excuse me, sorry, I had to take a sip of my clean drink.
You gotta love that clean drink, brother.
Craig's one of my favorite comics. I can't wait to dig into it.
Yeah, man, super thankful, man. 30 years of sobriety, man. So let's just get right to it, man. Let's just talk to the Yoda of sobriety as we speak, man. Hey, how's it going, Big Craig?
I'm fantastic. It's great to be here. I didn't even know that's what the show was about.
Yeah, the show's
that's
about...
up my alley.
Yeah, I heard you had 30 years sober. And
34. Yeah.
34 years sober,
Come
man.
on, I earned those extra 4.
Yeah, you did. I hear you on that, man. I wanted to share something. So I was just out in Philadelphia, and I know that's where you grew up.
Yeah.
My wife's family lives out in Valley Forge.
Oh.
And we were sitting out there, and we're around breakfast time, and I've never heard this word in my life. And her aunt comes in, and she goes, "Would you guys like some Scrabble?" And I said, "What are we going to do? Go play Scrabble out at the breakfast table?" And then I had heard you on a TED Talk, and you talked about Scrabble.
It's
and you
a
said,
breakfast meat.
It's a breakfast meat. And you said, who would want to eat something with crap in it? And I just wanted to open up with that, man.
Yeah, the word crap sits right there, right? And you know that it's one vowel away from scrap pile.
Oh my!
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
They make typical Philadelphia. They make the sausage. They sweep the floor, but that's the scrap pile. They put it in a mold, and they make scrapple. And then the Philadelphians go, "Put ketchup on it. Put hair on your chest." And thanks for the health tip there, Sasquatch. I don't know what kind of meat they used. I dropped it on my lap. It started humping my leg, just to give you a little clue on the scrapple. Did you try it?
Yeah, I tried it.
I admire you.
I liked it. We put syrup on it. So
wow.
Yeah, that's what my wife. That's what my wife said was the way to go. So we walked in there and we ate it and we enjoyed it. And I just got back from Philadelphia on Monday. My family lives out, her family lives out in Valley Forge, and it's just it was a beautiful experience. Like, we actually went out there and we got 4 meals at McDonald's for like $22, and I was like, man, we ain't in California no more, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Well, did you do the Valley Forge thing? And
we didn't go to the museum.
No.
No, her family.
The park? No,
not to the park. Her family lives right there. So her great granddaddy was the vice president of Westinghouse, and he was just an amazing man. He was a Freemason, and he had made a cabin up there. I don't know exactly the city's name. It was like Massapen or something.
Conshohocken.
Yeah, right there where the river is.
Yeah,
there's a river right there.
River, yeah.
And we were actually in the cabin, and there was a dinner table that like had a guest list of like all these influential people, you know. So I'm pretty sure he was just an amazing man. But I was able to go out there and see my wife's history, you know, and it was just a blessing to be out there. And I hadn't been back to Philly in a while. I played baseball, so I was out at Camden. There's a Camden River Sharks team right there.
Sure, yeah. My buddy played for them. I wonder if he played the same year.
Might have, man.
Craig Paquette.
You know, no, it doesn't ring a bell, man. It doesn't ring a bell.
He played in the majors for many years.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
amazing.
He ended up trying to make a comeback through Camden.
Oh, so, yeah.
Aren't they the river bats or something?
Yeah,
like
the Camden River Sharks.
River. I thought they were bats.
Yeah. So it's
maybe I did too many drugs 34 years ago. Bats and sharks. I can't tell the difference.
Amen. Right. I hear you, brother. So I just wanted to get into, how was it like growing up for you, and how did you decide to want to get into comedy?
I think it decided for me. My life kind of took that turn. My dad left when I was born. Started with that. I'm like, something I said, wah, he's gone. Yeah. So, I mean, my mom raised us, and we were very poor. And how you deal with poverty and circumstances. A lot of bad things happened to me and stuff. I was kidnapped, and it's just. I think that that led to both comedy and drinking. Yes, hand in hand, but. I always like making people laugh. And my mom, we have a great relationship today. As a matter of fact, I just got texted. This is typical of my mom, literally minutes ago. And this is my mom. She has all these things, what bugs her. And I actually started doing them on stage. I read her letters to me, like what bugs her about people, and she can't stand woke people. She's so here. These are some of her admonishments that she just sent me of what she said to me growing up. And actually, what am I saying today too? Yeah, she has these. Stop that, Craig. Don't be fresh. You'll be sorry someday. You'll be sorry when I'm gone. You mustn't take the Lord's name in vain, Craig. How vulgar. Those are some. She just texted that to me. Yeah. I think she likes being in my act now.
Yeah, I love that. My mom actually, she called me today before the show, and she's like, how I used to get nervous when you played baseball? She's like, I'm nervous today and all this. I said, well, Mom, don't even worry about it. It took me 41 years to not be nervous. You know what I'm saying? But
she's nervous for you doing this.
Yeah, she gets nervous for me.
There's only like 3 of us here. It's not like 30,000.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think Vinny's going to boo you. Charge the mound.
Yeah, I love that.
What position did you play?
So I played pitcher.
Oh, you were a pitcher.
Yeah, so I was a thrower, and then I had become a pitcher, and then for me and my story, I had got hooked on Adderall at the end of my baseball career, and it kind of led me down the wrong path. Yes, but speaking
of
not
a lot of right paths at the end of Adderall.
Oh my gosh, it's nothing but the wrong path.
Yeah,
so
it's amazing to me what the prescription drugs.
Yeah.
And the impact they have in the world and how they just get away with it. Yeah. It's amazing. It truly is. If I was in politics, that's the first thing I would go for is no, you guys got to button this up here.
Yeah. Yeah, they're prescribing it to young kids, young children.
Yeah, well, that's not the only one, too. Yeah. I mean, it's incredible when you see the results. Here's how you can know who's in charge. Watch a commercial. Most commercials are for drug companies. Yeah. First, the news gets you in fear about everything, right? They get you upset. Then the drug company sponsors the news that handles the anxiety they just gave you. Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm depressed, I'm stressed. Oh, there's my answer right there. And it costs a lot of money. Yeah. And it's a scam.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle.
I'm not saying all of it is. I'm not saying to people, I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you. But my experience, strength, and hope is I got addicted to a lot of this stuff. And alcohol is another one. Bombard you with the commercials. Look, you're going to get a hot chick if you drink this beer. Yeah, amen. I believed it.
It's a business, right? They're all in business at the end of the day.
They're in business, but the problem is they run the country. That's when, the lobbyists are, they have these, what I always say is they're after comedians, right? They're trying to cancel us. FCC is worried about our language. Who cares about language? What kind of impact does that have on your kid? You think your kid's going to be on the top of a tower with a rifle shooting people? Yeah. Craig Shoemaker said the F word. Right? No, they'll be on top of the tower because they're addicted to drugs that are not working for them. Yeah. And that's it's so backwards. I was having a bonding moment with my kids. I told you, I never dad, so father and son watching sports. That's a dream I had my whole life. And a commercial comes on. Do you have erectile dysfunction? I go, oh, thanks for the Hallmark moment. My son goes, do you, Dad? Oh, this is a way I pictured bonding with my kids. Yeah. And then the side effects, there's 19,000 side effects. You know what? Laughter only has great side effects. Yeah, yeah. So why are we taking away your greatest medicine is right there for you? Yeah. Just laugh your ass off. Yeah. And forget all the standards that they program you. You can't say this word, that word. They're just words, and they mean nothing in any other language.
Yeah. I actually, I love that movement that you're doing, the laughter movement. I actually was sitting there and I watched one of your TED Talks, you know, and I said, so I didn't make it to the big leagues. So I became a junkie after baseball. Now I have a testimony to save lives. You know what I'm saying? And it works. You know, it really lightens up the mood, and it really changes things, and can change your course of life. Is to be able to laugh things off, man. Yeah,
it's true. I did a laughitation on my way to. Now I was like I said, with no dad, I wasn't great at sports, but I loved sports. But what gets in the way was, you know, I didn't have the pedigree. I don't have the father having the catch. So everything I had to learn on my own. I literally, we were so poor. I played street ball. We just had a ball and with no gloves, you know, in the city of Philly, right? Then I moved to the suburbs, and my mom signs me up for Little League. Oh, you got to get a glove. Well, I'm right-handed. I got a glove that went on my right hand. So I would catch the ball, throw the glove down, and then throw the ball. Because I didn't have this education. You know, I didn't know how to be a man. So the routes that I took were shame-filled and, you know, just terrible routes that I took. So on my way to a championship recently, I don't know if you saw this video, I did this thing. I do a guided laughitation. I have a new thing called chuckle chatter, where I just laughed and I said out loud all the shame spots from my childhood, including we were poor. I went out for the golf team. I couldn't be on the same putting green as them because I wore baseball spikes. They said, "Where are your spikes?" That's the only spikes I had, right? And these rich guys were making fun of me. And I said that out loud while I was laughing on my way to the country club championship. I'm a country club member. Who knew? Little poor Craig Shoemaker. And I won because the laughter brought me to the meaninglessness.
I love it.
You know, we put so much meaning on everything, and it prevents us from being our true selves, our authentic self. Because we're programmed to believe in what they tell us to believe and get in line. My new book is called Get Out of Line and Into Alignment. Get in your own alignment.
I love that.
What serves you, a higher purpose. Your own alignment, which God has given us. That's your alignment, not someone else saying, get in line, here's your reward, here's your good grade. You know, as long as you comply with their needs and the way they're trying to control us. So the best control is what we have inside of us, this divineness,
I love
this beauty, this laughter, this joy. That's the direction to take. But they're trying to stop the comedians. But make any sense. All we're doing is saying, hey, here's some truth for you, pulled a few curtains. But they're threatened by the curtains.
That's an incredible exercise. How long have you been doing that?
The guided laughitation I've been doing about 10 years. What I found was comedy's very subjective. Comedy's subjective. Laughter's not. They said, well, what's the difference? I said, well, you know, crying is not drama, but you could cry at a drama, but you could laugh at a comedy, and there's also times you're not laughing. So, but laughter, how do you get there, since comedy is so subjective? What you like and what you like, other people don't like. What do you find is funny? So I said, well, I'm a meditator, right? But I'm not a great meditator. I don't like silence. You know, I like talking. So that's why I'm here. Imagine if we all just meditated right now. It'd be very boring. So I said, let's see if I can apply this and make a choice to laugh where you don't need a joke. So that's where it started. I was working in a cancer facility. I helped cancer patients, you know, find this healing laughter. You know, it's a great medicine, right? Literally, oxygenate your body, healing endorphins are released, and so on. Stress relieved, which is a big problem with disease, is stress. And also, any medicines you're on, it improves the efficacy of whatever medicine you're on. That's what laughter does all these wonderful things, great side effects. So I started this laughitation, and it really caught on, where I can do it for you right now. I actually changed it recently. I have a new thing called chuckle chatter. I'll do that one for you. And this happened. I was seeing a client. You know, I coach and get people out of their way, out of their own way, out of their heads. You know what I mean? Out of their fears, out of their worries and their doubts and all that. So she's really stuck up here when she talks. I said, start giggling, right? So then I started a thing called chuckle chatter. I said, just tell me what you did today. Just tell me what you did today, so you don't have to worry about jokes. And it ends up to be a joke because laughter is so contagious. Watch, I'll do it right now. And I guarantee both of you are going to at least smile while I'm doing this. You ready? Okay. So I got up today and I woke up at 5 a.m. My alarm went off.
It totally is.
And I put snooze. And I brush my teeth with the toothpaste my wife got me. It's called Tom's. And there you go.
Yeah, it totally works. That's crazy. And you
Isn't that crazy?
And you combine that. We use the term shame spots. You're combining the laughter with facing your shame.
That's the laughitation. Then I'll say out loud, you know, I got kidnapped when I was 13.
Wow.
5 days in a ghetto hotel. You know what that does? That releases him. I get into forgiveness, the person that did it. And it releases me. He doesn't have the keys to my prison.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I love that.
So I release myself. I release him. I release everything through the laughter. And the laughter really takes us to an energetic spot that is so divine, so beautiful, so perfect, so much in alignment.
Yeah.
So much in great vibration. That's what it causes. You have a new vibration. I'm watching both of you just got lighter.
Yeah, yeah.
Just from that little tiny chuckle chatter.
Yeah.
The light comes on.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that. I think like the 12 steps should have an extra step of laughter. You know what I'm saying? To be able to laugh it off.
Yeah. Well, that's actually, there's something in the big book. We are not a glum lot. It's, forget what page it's on. We are not a glum lot. And it's true. Although when you first get sober, you're like, I'm never going to laugh again. I really thought that. I thought I could also never go on stage without drinks or drugs.
Yeah.
I thought I couldn't.
Yeah.
It turns out it was the opposite, that I've never been funnier, never been more creative, never been smarter.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, I was really like just not in a good spot. You know what I mean? Just really did not think well of myself. I was really small. I got bullied. You know, I'm big now, but it was just really, really rough growing up, and I had to have someone take my SATs for me. That's how much shame I was in. I really didn't think I could. Ate bad food because you're poor, you eat bad food, so your brain's not working.
Yeah.
And the self-esteem will take your brain down, everything else. So I literally had someone take my SATs. That's how dumb I thought I was.
Yeah.
So now that I'm released to be the person I truly am, through these laughter programs, through, you know, being sober, and through, you know, cleaning myself out with making amends and taking inventory and all those things, I'm now who I'm supposed to be. And I took a test. And I've done it twice just to make sure. I tested genius. And I believe we all are. Yeah. That's what's inside of us. Now, I was considered dumb when I was in high school. I couldn't keep up with the standards of people. There was always the smart kids. I thought I had to cheat off them. And 2 times in a row, I tested genius. They said, you're of the level of Da Vinci, Tesla.
Wow.
And that's what these tests said. So which test is right? Which test is right? The one where I'm in connection with my divine source, which is infinite and beautiful and abundant?
Yeah.
Or am I this limited person that believes, well, I'm always going to be poor?
Yeah.
You know, we used to get evicted. I thought the word evict meant move. I thought they were the same word when I was a kid. Here's the eviction truck, Mommy.
Yeah.
And I pack up and they were ready. But that stayed with me. So now that I'm released to be the person I truly am, now I can be a genius, and so can you, and so can you. Everyone's a genius.
Yeah.
If you can tap into that. If you remove all of those obstacles, and that's what the laughitation's about. You're saying out loud what's holding you back from being your authentic self.
Man, I absolutely love that, man. I feel like when back before I had gotten clean and got sober and live a life of recovery, you know, find my higher power, work the steps, like you said, clean out the inside soul, that I wasn't able to tap into this power that we had within us, you know.
That's right.
And being able to get clean and work a program of recovery, sharing the good news, you know, having sponsors, sponsees, all that, doing all that. Like, I feel like there's no limit to life anymore, you know. I'm just like just so thankful to be able to have a testimony and a message that can help save lives, you know. And it's like I don't have to get paid to do it, but I'm fulfilled from the inside out, man. And I'm super, super thankful for that, man.
Passing it on is the greatest gift. If you pass on your gift, I do this when I'm backstage. I pray to be of service, because there are many people in that audience that are depressed.
Yeah.
They're really on their last legs sometimes. They have no hope. They're in despair. They might have lost a loved one. I'm friends with someone whose mom died 2 hours before my show.
Wow.
And she said, where else am I going to go? My mom's dead.
Yeah.
And she came to my show, and she joined this group, and that they were like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
You know, my mom passed away, but I want to come laugh. Because she was with her mom all the way to the end with all that goes with that.
Yeah.
The sorrow, the grief. So she dealt with her grief that way. She laughed her ass off, and we became friends after that.
Wow,
she was a client even, and now that led to, now she's married and happy, and It all came from her choice to say, I am going to have a good time. But we're programmed to go, no, you must be sorrowful. You must be say these words. You must be not say, crying.
Yeah.
This is how we are taught. We are conditioned, all these conditions. Everything that I coach now is all about reconditioning.
Yeah.
Reconditioning our mind, body, and our spirit. And that will change your whole world.
Yeah.
And one of my conditions, by the way, I tell people is, don't watch the news.
Oh, man, I hear you on that, brother.
I'm selling my house right now, and somebody backed out of the house sale, and my neighbor goes, oh, you're never going to sell it now. The market, everything's crashed. And I said, I don't know that, and there's a lot of other people don't know that. If you're watching these numbers, it's all an illusion anyway.
Yeah.
My buddy goes, I lost 80 grand. I go, yeah, that's today.
Yeah.
It's just numbers on a that's all. You didn't lose it. It's not gone. You still own the stock, which will come back up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. So people are fixated on these things. We're taught to be in this fear. Now, what does fear do? It makes you tense and tight.
Man.
You can't be your true self. Exactly. You can't perform anything when you're tight.
Yep.
So I don't watch the news, and it's the other advice I give people. I say, how about this? Why don't you share a favorite movie moment, your favorite comedy movie moment? I'm gonna try this with you guys. This is a new thing I've been doing. Favorite comedy moment.
I like Step Brothers when Will Ferrell goes in and he plays on the drums.
Fuck you, Dale! Fuck you! So now when you told that, you were smiling.
Yeah.
Right? You went back in your memory, and at that moment in time, you're smiling. There's nothing else going on in the world.
Yeah.
There's still wars going on across whatever. But in that moment, you had a wonderful moment of reflection. Vinny, what do you got? A favorite moment in a comedy movie?
Oh, man, the first one that comes to mind for me, which might be taboo for this show, is
Nothing's taboo.
is Half-Baked, and the scene where they're recounting, Jim Brewer recounts the story of when his dog died, Killer the dog.
But then he had the fight of his life. Pit him against his brother Nibbles. And Killer said, no, man, that's my brother. I can't fight Nibbles. And he made him fight anyway. And then Killer killed Nibbles. And Killer said, that's it. He called off all his fights, and he started doing crack, and he freaked out. And then in a rage, collapsed. And his heart no longer beat. Wow.
You know, I never thought I'd say this to anybody, but you two smoke entirely too much reefer.
What if the guy did it?
It's just this monologue of Jim, and it's classic. It gets me going every time.
See?
Yeah.
And by the way, it's not irreverent for the show because, look, you can't ignore what went on. As a matter of fact, in
100%.
sobriety, with 3 other sober producers, I made a movie called Totally Baked about marijuana because my son, I was singing that song, I'm a joker, smoker, midnight toker.
Yeah, I love it.
I can't say, I'm not saying the word toker anymore.
Right,
because,
right.
And he goes, what's a toker? He's a little kid. And I go, well, it's someone that smokes pot. And he goes into the kitchen, he pulls out a pot, and he goes, how do you smoke that, Dad? I go, trust me, I tried. Just tried getting the resins out of there. I was so desperate. Man. So we made this movie about what is marijuana about? What really, should the weed be freed? And so we went at it with truth.
Yeah.
It's like, really, where is this?
Yeah.
And why are prescription drugs and alcohol, legal and this isn't?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and it's a funny, irreverent movie. I mean, we just went full out.
That if they didn't want you to roll joints with the Bible, they wouldn't have left those last pages blank.
Blah, 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 blah.
I'm a heroin junkie. Your friends are getting totally beat.
Something for you.
It's not like someone's going to watch the movie and they're new in sobriety go, oh, I got to smoke now, or I got to do drugs now.
Yeah.
No, it's like life is life. We can't ignore these things. That's what I say about language, too. It's like really, it's 4 letters put together, and in another language it means nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Why does it mean something to you?
Yeah.
Because you've been conditioned to make it mean something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you mentioned your son, and I would imagine your kids only know this version of you, right? They don't know that.
My kids have never seen. Yeah, it's true. All my kids never saw me take a drink.
How is that? How are those conversations with them about the other Craig, or the old Craig, or whatever you want to call it?
Interesting you would say that, because I have some crazy a story. My oldest son, who's got the champion gene, I met his mom in recovery. His mom's the one who took me to my first meeting.
Wow.
His mom.
Wow.
And divorced, long time divorced. But anyway, so he's got the gene from both of us, because she was sober in like a year, and she took me to this meeting, and I never thought I was an alcoholic, because I thought an alcoholic looked a certain way. You had to have a bulbous red nose with exploded corpuscles and drink out of a bag. That wasn't me, so therefore I wasn't an alcoholic. And she's gorgeous, a soap actress. So I'm going, she can't be an alcoholic. I had no idea. So I picked him up at school. He graduated in Pennsylvania. I live in California, but I flew in, but I shipped a car there for his present. And we get in his car, and sure enough, I said, we got to leave at a certain hour. I said, can you not drink tonight? Oh, no, opposite. Oh, he's like having a threesome. It's like I pick him up. I literally loaded him in. I had to put all his stuff. I packed his stuff.
Yeah.
I load him in. He stinks. His new shirt is like torn, and he'd been up all night just pounding down drinks. So the entire trip across country, which I'm thinking we're going to have a bonding experience, was wonderful in some ways, but watching him drink hard booze was not easy for me.
Yeah.
So it ended with it got really bad. Police search, the whole deal, bloody eye, the whole anyway, it was bad. And I next day I loaded him in the car again. This is our last stop on the trip. It was in Arizona. I stayed silent because I study awareness and consciousness, and I said just keep on, don't yell, don't just tell them what to do. Stay in silence, let God guide this. And God said, cry. I cried, and I broke down. I shared my experience of how difficult that was. The longest night of my life, because I thought he was dead. And he was missing. And we called my my nephew, and he got on the phone with him, and he went to a meeting the next day. He didn't stay sober, but now he has 4.5 months.
That's awesome.
Today.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. So I saw him last week in Philly. We went down and bought a house down the Jersey Shore, where he's been. I bring my family. I always bring to the Jersey Shore, which is a big part of Philadelphia. And we bought a house, and we celebrated together. And he's a sober guy now, and I got him a job. And
wow, that's cool, man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And my nephew is also helping out, and he's sober about 6 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And you've shared your stories with them of your past?
Yeah, it's a great question, Vinny. I tell you, because you wonder, well, how far do you go with this?
Right.
But again, you're not going to make somebody not drink, and you're not going to make them drink. There's nothing you can do. You're powerless over that. So I tell the truth. I tell these stories, and I make fun. I make fun of myself. I mean, I have stories about drinking, and my kids, I tuck them in bed at night with stories. Some of them have drinking involved with them. But I go, once upon a time, this little boy named Craig Shoemaker was, and then the kids fill in blank years old. And I go, 13. Oh, boy, 13. That's when it all started. I was getting bombed at 13.
Same.
And now I can't imagine. Like, I have a 12-year-old. Oh, the sweetest kid. I can't imagine him even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Now, is that because he's seen a sober dad and here's how bad it can get? Or is it just it's not in his genes? I don't know the answer to that. But I do know that I'm always going to tell the truth. Now, my daughter's she's got something. She's 8. She's got a little glint in her eye. I have to
keep an eye on that one.
She might be. I'm going to keep an eye on her. 12-year-old, no. The 18-year-old, worried about him. And my 23-year-old, he's just, he's sober. He gets it, though, because he's been to meetings. That's the other thing. He's seen the recovery. And here's another thing. He watched Dad. He knows I come from poverty. I became a success. Sober.
Amen on that.
So he gets to see that. I mean, buying a house down the shore, whatever. We live a really great, abundant life. And that only happened. I became way more creative. I never thought I could ever write a joke again. if I wasn't high or drunk or whatever.
Yeah.
We used to sit around. We thought we were really funny when we were stoned. Everything's funny.
Yeah.
We go, oh my God, it was so funny. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. You write it down. You read the note the next day. You know, hamster nipples. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
It was funny the night before. You know, oh my God, don't say it again. Hamster nipples, you're killing me.
Yeah.
So that's how the comedy got started, with my buddies. And I also never thought that I could go back home and hang with my friends, because our bonding was, we literally had shrines to beer. You know, like we had cans like in a pyramid.
Yeah.
And we would just bow to the beer gods. We had all different beers. we were so proud of ourselves of the beer cans that we had from, you know, from Labatt's or whatever, from Canada. We're like, we're international. And I can hang out with my friends easily now, and I'm an example for them. If they ever come to me and say, I think I have a problem, they know where to go. Attraction, not promotion.
I love that. It sounds like the obsession's been lifted.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, you've become the person that you always needed in your life, and now you're that person.
Yeah.
And that's amazing, man.
It's funny you should say that, Monte. You know how I parent? This is an easy way to parent. This goes out to anyone who's a parent. I just give I take a pause. I've learned that in the big book as well. I take a pause and I let higher source run the show. I said, give them what you longed for your whole life. So if I longed for attention, if I longed for a moment, if I longed for a hug, if I longed for love, that's what I give them. It makes parenting easy. All decisions are made then from a higher source and not this panicked, fear-based, angry person. And that's mostly how I've raised them. I have a lot of bad moments too. When I don't take the pause. You don't take the pause, you're going to be back to your old self. You don't go to meetings, don't take care of yourself, don't really work it. You know, I have a terrible story I'll tell you in a few minutes if you want to hear it, about the time that I
love
said,
terrible stories.
well, it's in sobriety. It's about 10 years ago, and I was going through a really rough divorce. I mean, married, and literally like the one child was it. So it was probably 8 years ago, because she was in a stroller, and had a family walk with another family, and I read another note from another freaking lawyer. You know, it's cost me $1 million because my ex-wife went crazy on me, trying to accuse me, and really wanted possession of the children, and it was all about the game of these poor kids were used as pawns. It was awful. And I implore anyone listening, if you're going for divorce, do not for a second try to do something manipulative to make the kids go against their parents.
Amen.
Because they are caught in a war, and they're being divided, and they will suffer for the rest of their lives from this, what she chose to do. So I'm dealing with it, and then I had it, and I flipped out, and I said, that's it. We were walking to a farmer's market. I said, I screamed. I said, I'm going to go drink. I told everybody, and they were like, what the hell? Nobody knew me as that. The three sons, you know, what's and my wife had no idea what was. I raged. I raged. I'm going to go drink. I've had it. I hate life. I was thinking of suicide. It was so bad. The accusations, the courts, the therapists, the school, the faculty. I deal with this their entire, from the whole divorce. She never stopped. Cost over $1 million just to have 50% custody. Because I said, there's no way they're going to be taken from their father and diminished and demeaned. And so I stood firm in that. But awesome. I was just, another email comes in. I flipped. A minor's counselor. I really have to have a counselor. I got to pay for the, to protect my son against me if it shouldn't be, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
These court systems are horrible. They're not designed for the betterment of the child. They're not at all. They're supposedly protecting them. They're not. It's a system, and it's awful what they're doing. And it was awful what she did, and what any parent does that when they go after, when you think that a child custody is your goal, is to have more custody, you're not a good person. You need to go back to your higher source and do what's good for the child. And what's good for the child is having balance, loving the other parent even though you're not together. And that's what I tried, but I was done. I flipped out. I didn't go drink. I went to the country club and I smoked cigarettes. And I watched, this is what happened. It was like, my wife didn't know what to do. She's not in the program, and she calls my friends who are. And it was like this moment in my life I will never forget. I'm sitting there feeling sorry for myself, smoking these cigarettes. I wanted them to think that I was dying or dead or at a bar. I wanted them to think that I was, we have that pity, that self-pity. I'll show them, the victim thing. And I was way in victim mode. Smoking a cigarette, and I see these numbers come across. Mark, Rustum, I still remember Lee. That's who she called, and they're like, they left me messages. I refused. I pressed, refused to call, and I listened to the messages. Hey, bro, come on, man.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah.
Come on. And that's what they said. These are my, this is the fellowship. These are my compadres in sobriety, and they're reaching out with love, no judgment.
Yeah.
No, hey, you're a dick.
Mm-hmm.
They're just saying, hey, come back. Come on, man.
Yeah.
They thought I was drinking,
yeah,
but I wasn't. And I came back, and that was my moment. And this is a lot of sobriety. This goes to show you, guess what? I hadn't been going to meetings.
Yeah.
I hadn't been taking care of myself. I stopped my practice, my spiritual practices, stopped sponsoring, stopped being of service. I didn't have a sponsor. Now, what's the coincidence there?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's as close as I've come to drinking.
Yeah.
So, and from that point forward, got my sponsor back.
I love
bam,
it.
bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
All that I need to do to be well, including being here today.
Yeah, yeah.
I tell people when I speak at meetings, I say, I don't want to be here. Yeah. I'll tell you, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I'm here to be of service, though. Because I know that's what leads to my conditioning, the reconditioning.
Yeah.
This is what I have to recondition my selfish thoughts, my envy thoughts. I have to recondition them all the time.
Yeah.
So that takes programming, which is why you work a program.
Yeah, I love
to
that.
deprogram.
Recovery, yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah.
100%.
So those days are, I now understand my rage. I've dealt with that, my temper. So much was learned through this, my ex-wife. I learned about surrender, and man, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Oh man,
very hard.
Surrender is so hard.
Yes.
But I will tell you, anyone watching, listening, it is the greatest victory of all.
Yeah, I love that.
And when you surrender your thoughts and your ideas and how things you control, you surrender it. And now a lot of people don't even know what that looks like. But in that case, surrender looked like, oh man, I got to surrender my ego and say, go back to meetings.
Yeah.
I got to surrender my ego and know that I'm not at this alone.
Yeah.
I got to surrender all of these thoughts to think that I have the answers.
Yeah.
So I divorced my ego, file for divorce, file those papers.
Your ego is not your amigo.
It is not. By the way, tries to be, though.
He wants to be there all the time.
It's like, hey, remember in the back seat of the car? Oh, man, that was hot, wasn't it? That ego's always there. Hey, remember I wore that skirt?
Yeah.
I see you. I'm not going there again. I refuse. And that's what it does. It's an allure. It's so clever. And every time it's there, though, I now laugh at it, recognize it, and go, no, I divorced you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It appears all the time, and it even manifests itself in my life sometimes.
Yeah.
But in general, I love living like this. It's freeing. To surrender is freeing.
Yes.
That's the irony, is we've been taught as guys, especially. Well, I remember a song when I was a kid. It didn't make any sense to me. Onward, Christian soldiers. Very, very, very tight. Marching on to war with the cross of Jesus. I'm going, wait a minute. Your war with Jesus is about peace and love? I'm a little kid going, this makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
What in the world am I'm going to war?
Yeah.
What's it about? What's the war about? Why am I killing someone? Thou shalt not kill.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. I sang the song too because I was trained. You sing the song. You sing the song they tell you to sing.
Yeah.
But when you analyze it and step back and become in alignment with yourself, even the Pledge of Allegiance, it's like I'm pledging allegiance to this thing that doesn't represent goodness, kindness, love, God. It doesn't represent that. It represents control and power and hate, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
no,
it makes
100%.
no sense to pledge. So I don't pledge, I pray.
Yeah.
I pray, I meditate, and I let this higher source run the show.
Yeah.
And the higher source, by the way, tells truths that some people don't want to hear because of the programming.
Yeah, 100%.
Some people don't like comics.
Yeah.
They don't like us.
I absolutely, when I wake up in the morning, I get right with the higher source, every single day. And it's changed my whole entire life because now I'm on God's will, and not my will. But I really wanted to ask you because, when I was playing professional baseball, I had such a hard time leaving the stadium and not chasing earthly pleasures, not going out and drinking the drugs, the women. I wanted to ask you, how do you, when you got sober, how do you leave the arena and you're able to keep all those things at bay, and the type of tools that you use to be able to stay sober every night?
It's a really great question, and one I've never been asked for, so thank you. I've never been asked before that question. It is so programmed in me that if you achieve this, you get this. And you know what the thises are? You just mentioned it. Women, attention, fortune, fame, more alcohol, pouring the alcohol, free-flowing alcohol, parties. That's what it leads to. So now, it still happens all these years sober. Once in a while, if I'm staying, for instance, in a beautiful, I get a lot of beautiful hotels. I'm in this hotel by myself. I'm going, man, some hot chick in here would be great. Have some bubbly. Look at that tub. It's an empty tub. I want to fill that with,
that
because
good old
I'm
ego.
Conditioned from commercials and friends or peers and everything else. I need to have something more than just this nice room. I don't want to have this by myself. Where's the reward? After shows, it's really nice. I sign autographs. People go, man, you know what you mean to me? And they always have really cool stuff to say. But there's part of me that's going, oh my God, you know, women love laughter. Come on now. Here I am. And so it is really, really tough. But again, it's all predicated upon my recovery. The better recovered I am, the more those thoughts, I laugh at the thoughts. The more I become aware of myself. And, you know, listen, anyone who's getting sober, anyone who is sober, just know that these thoughts are constant. I was speaking the other day, and the guy next to me is a really good friend of mine, right? The guy that asked me to speak, the secretary, and it's this wild meeting with like really young people, and they're like, I was just reminding me of when I was that way, you know, and you know, all the hip and cool people, and I thought to myself, if they recorded us, I did not sound like some speaker guru. I'm going, look at that chick over there. It happens. It's going to happen, and be honest about it. Don't hide it. The ones who hide it are the ones that commit the crimes. They're the ones that do the stuff. But if you admit it and say it out loud, your truth will set you free.
All right, we're back, man. Hey, the cameras got overheated because Big Craig, man, he's bringing the heat right here. But I wanted to ask you.
I love that you admitted it. See, I was trying to tell you that on the break. We took a little break. I was in the middle of a story, and then, oh, wait a minute, the cameras are overheating. And I was like, okay. And we open up the garage door, and there's somebody, you know, with a saw next door. But anyway, that's the thing about sobriety that I've learned is the truth. You just tell the truth. Now, normally, I know I suggested, why don't I just run with the truth and let the audience know that instead of editing around, you're spending all this time editing. Yeah, everybody's got problems. So that problem happened in life. The camera's overheated in the middle of this discussion. But so many people are image conscious, and they go, wait a minute, that throws us off. You know, it doesn't. It throws you on. Because now we all had to ad lib, and now we're here, we're present. And we're aware. Where were we with the story? Anybody remember?
Oh, man.
Oh, the cameras just threw us right off here.
I just want to finish with this last question. Back when I was playing baseball and I put the amphetamine in my body, it became a point where I didn't know if I could perform on the field without having the amphetamine in my body. And I lived in such bondage and like such a locked box. How did you get over the whole fact of like not using drugs and being able to go out there and perform still?
It was scary. Having that crutch it was like a crutch. You know, have that. You know, you're numbing out your fears, and you think that it goes away. What I found though is through working this, it's more freeing than the other stuff was. So it actually becomes a superpower. Sobriety is now a superpower for me. I feel stronger than ever, and I'm a lot older now, you know, than when I got sober in, you know, young 20s. And I'm much more powerful now because my mind is clear, my creativity, I'm tapped in with the creator, which is what creativity is. I'm present, aware, conscious. I mean, how cool is that to live like that? And that's what this led to. Now, I didn't stop.
How was that first time?
I didn't stop drinking for that reason, for these promises coming true. I didn't stop for that reason, but that's what's happening. And there are new promises that come true for me. The first time on stage, I do remember it clearly. Now, I'm going to be honest again, and it's irreverent, and you're going to have to keep this in.
Let's go.
Okay?
Let's go.
I also thought I'll never get laid again.
That's a big fear.
That was a fear. I'm never going to meet anybody.
Yeah.
And this is crude, but this is what happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
I go to Indianapolis, and I'm going, oh my, I can't do this. And I was booked in Indianapolis at a comedy club. And so I thought, and I killed on stage. I couldn't believe it. I killed. I said, oh, that went well. To top it all off, also got laid. Not only did I get laid by the manager of the club, she drops me off. We have sex together at the condo. 2 more waitresses showed up later.
Wow.
So they were both with me. So basically, I'm going, whoa, sobriety's awesome.
Yeah, you're
I had
hooked.
days sober. Now, listen, I'm not out there advocating for you to have threesomes and stuff like that. But I will tell you that I was saying to myself, okay,
I can do this.
I can do anything,
Yeah.
you know. And listen, we all do have a mind that wants to have sex, right? People want to have sex.
Yeah.
So, and that was programmed in me too. It's like someday I'll, be with multiple, and it happened that night.
Wow.
And I'm not advocating for it. I'm not condoning my behavior, but I will tell you, we have this behavior. It exists. It exists even more if you're an alcoholic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because our thinking is, our stinking thinking is not so great. So just admit it and have fun with it. Now, I'm not going to do that again, you know.
Yeah.
But I want to do it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just say it. Say it out loud. Say it, spray it, and be okay with it. And get out of the judgment. It's this image conscious crap that really keeps us drinking.
Yep.
It's like making sure that you're bonding with everyone through drinking and alcohol. And that's the other thing, is I never thought I could go back home to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Because when I did go out my first year, I went out.
Yeah.
And I went out in Philadelphia because they call me Shoe. Come on, Shoe. Where's the old Shoe? Because they're used to, I'm the lampshade on the head drunk.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And sure enough, I got drunk. And I looked in the audience. There was my sister, proud of me that I'm back, because she's a big drinker.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
sober now, about 25 years.
Awesome.
But at the time, I'm back. Then we end up at the after hours bar, because I always know how to get in. I know the guy with the velvet rope.
Right.
Even though I live in LA, I still know these people. I end up finding the Coke dealer. Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
Wake up naked the next day.
Yeah.
Hopefully human is next to me, and it was. Hopefully female. And I had a spring. I'll never forget. I was naked. I had a spring. There was poking me in the ass. And it was like I think
Literally.
that was
Wow.
literally poking me in the ass, saying it's time to get sober, and that was my last drink.
Wow.
Yeah, that was it. And the woman next to me, her name was, listen to this last name, Rectum Wall.
Whoa.
Honest to God, that's the name. I
Oh, my
haven't
gosh.
seen her since, but that's who was next to me in my sister's futon
Man.
in Philadelphia, in downtown Philadelphia, and that was my last time ever having anything from the neck up. And it's crazy. It's just, and it's been wonderful. And I'm not saying life is perfect and easy. All the same stuff happens. It's just now I have tools to manage.
There you go.
Who had tools before?
Yeah.
Yep.
All I knew is lie, cheat, steal, get over, get by, bully. Those are the tools that I had.
Yeah.
That's all I had
Yeah.
in my arsenal.
Yeah.
I didn't have take a pause. I didn't have be of service.
Yeah.
I didn't have be loving, go to God. I didn't have meditation. I didn't have any of that stuff.
Yeah. And now you're like Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Exactly. Meditate.
I love it.
Be of service. That's what we got now.
Well, Craig, I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show and just sharing your experience, your strength, and your hope, man. Absolutely, just an absolute amazing podcast, and we thank you so much. We got a gift for you.
Oh, really?
For coming on the show,
There you go.
Go
Yeah,
take it
man.
away, Vinny.
Speaking of truth, we had we had some scheduling challenges, and we understand you have some golf to play later, so we got you this signed Tiger Woods.
Oh, thank you.
But if you look,
He didn't sign
if
that.
you look, you got it.
He didn't
You
sign
got it.
that. Come on. Tiger Woods signed up for it. And you know what's funny is he's in rage in this show.
Yes,
Which I
he
think
is.
you were trying to tell me that was me when I was drunk.
I love it.
We've all been in that drunken rage. Or is he celebrating? One of the two.
Yeah, that's definitely Monte's signature on there
Thank you,
for
Monte.
sure.
Yeah. It's Tiger Woods with my Hancock.
Oh, believe me, I'll be telling people that it's Tiger Woods' signature. And then I'll make amends later for lying.
Yeah, thanks again,
It's
Craig.
a real pleasure. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
This is being of service to others, and hopefully everyone had some laughs today as well, because we're not a glum lot. We need to have fun with our lives. All right.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Let's go, baby. Woo! Woo! Let's go, baby.
I got the golden buzzard. America's Got Talent. This is great.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. We good?
Scared the shit out of me.
it got me too,
Scared me too. What an amazing episode, guys, on laughter right there. If you guys like that episode, hey, let's like, subscribe, and let's ring that bell, baby. Hey, and one of our lucky subscribers, we're going to give out tickets to the Saquon Casino Craig Shoemaker event. It's going to be an absolute amazing event, and you can see sobriety, move and groove in a real way, baby. Hey, and also, if you guys have a redemption story, or you have a redemption story, or you know someone with a redemption story, put it in the comments, guys. Hey, we'll bring you on the show, man. We want to continue to spread the good news. We want to continue to share the good news, guys. That was an absolute amazing episode on laughter. Laughter heals the soul, guys. But you know how I always like to end the show. You know how I like to do it, baby. On 3, 2, 1. Let's go, baby. On today's episode, we got legendary Craig Shoemaker, just an amazing comedian.
Started over Shoemaker.
Oh, I said Shoemaker? Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry.
Or you could keep it and I'll make fun of him.
Sorry about that. All right.
Okay, Monte.
Yeah. All right.
Stay sober. Stay sober. Stay sober, my friends.